live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. By the way, free the taint. I know obviously where you're from. It happens. It's all right. Anyways, we've got to talk about a little bit of non-news before we get to the news. Let me list off the news stories first, before I get into my crazy day yesterday. There was a reason why I slept in, so to speak. Burgum is warning that whoever wins the AI race controls the world. I agree with him. We'll be analyzing that because AI, and I was incorrect in my initial predictions with regards to it, has taken leaps and bounds in a very, very short period of time. It's almost like the AI is training itself at times. So, yeah, I was wrong on that one. That is a failed Styx prediction. Originally, I figured it'd be used more to make art and funny memes and stuff. Now it's being found to be useful for military and intel applications, so we'll talk about that. Trump and the tech oligarchy. Well, there is a tech oligarchy. The irony is that it began actually when the Biden administration began to wine and dine the tech oligarchs and utilize them for censorship purposes. So it's funny, the liberal media technically gets it right, but they're misattributing where the oligarchy is actually coming from and what its purpose actually is. Very amusing. The Pentagon announces it has accepted the jet from Qatar for Air Force One replacement, which is cool. I think it's a lot bigger than the last one, if I remember correctly. And it's going to be monumental, actually. And Trump on airports and airplanes. Oh, King of Biltong's here, so we'll have to eat both right in a minute. Trump and airplanes are sort of twain. We've talked about that before, but we're going to have to talk about it again, I suppose. Jill Biden's role propping up Joe throughout his presidency can't be ignored as questions over his cancer diagnosis swirl. Is Jill Biden actually a villain? We're not 100% sure. Some people say yes. Some people like myself say no, more stand by your man mode, but we'll get into that. I'm sure there'll be a debate over that in chat. Top Democrat grills RFK Jr. over Health and Human Services cuts. Yes, of course, he's the head of HHS, and the cuts, generally speaking, have to do with getting rid of bureaucrats that don't really need to be there. They appear to be going further than that. I'm not sure whether cutting grants for children is necessarily the greatest of ideas, but I thought that the interchange was interesting at least, so we'll talk about that too. Sawbox, have you considered streaming an hour later so you're not competing with Crowder? Well, then I may run up against the quartering, and of course I had been his co-host, and he's done a real good solid for me. I'm thinking about moving to another time slot, but I'm not sure. Copium poppies. No taxes on tips passed. Time to stop tipping until taxes are abolished for all of us. I do not believe that we should stop tipping. I tend to tip very well. The reason is you get much better service once they know that you're a repeat customer and a good tipper. If you're just going to a place once, it's like just leave an average tip unless the service is really, really good. But if it's a place that you intend to go back to time after time, like some of the local restaurants here in Rutland, it's a good idea to tip very well. The Senate is saying they're not going to pass it. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling that Trump is going to lean on those motherfuckers. I have a feeling that he's going to lean on them. It's going to be funny. Oh, yes, that's right. Oh. It stuck to it because a little bit of the Bovrite dripped out. Anton can now say his famous line. Salty! But delicious. Anyways, let's get to my crazy day first. Well, actually, first we should shout out the sponsors. We'll do that first. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. They will invigorate you. I use them every single day. In fact, I'll be taking my mushroom pill soon. I woke up late, so I had to move the live stream actually before the standalone videos. In fact, maybe that should be my new format. Go an hour earlier or something like that. I have no clue. I'll figure it out. Cheers. Cultivated Mind is some good stuff. They've also got stuff for your doggo now as well. I'm hoping that the catus will soon get treats as well. 6 duo-activated mushroom extracts. Probably works wonders for their coat, I would imagine, and probably their longevity. Maybe I'll live forever taking these mushroom pills. And then we have BiltongUSA.com. Anton can hook you up with Bovrite, Marmite, and Vegemite, which is great as a spread. All 3 of them, by the way. Also Biltong, obviously. Anton's Biltong is packed with protein. It's also delicious. So you can take it when you go camping, you know, you need some good long-term energy, you know, just chow down on that. I would recommend getting the stick version, like the Angus or the Cabanassi, for, you know, hiking and shit like that. I would recommend the shredded version for if you're like making a soup or something like that. We've also got Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available there as well. He's based in Roanoke, Texas, but is soon moving. And finally, jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com. The home of various teas and Clanker coffee. In fact, one of the reasons that I slept in so late is that last night I took their healer tea, which is mildly sedative, actually. I think it has chamomile in it. And I drank a butt ton of that and pretty much just conked out, actually. It was pretty great. Actually got good sleep, you know. For an insomniac, that can be important. So yes, jamnbean.com. Let's see. Cobian Poppies. Nah, good service isn't worth being screwed. No taxes on tips is designed to relieve pressure on politicians to abolish income tax. Therefore, pressure needs to be applied to those benefiting. I would disagree mildly. I do agree with getting rid of the income tax. That would be great. But I still tip well. I'm not going to take it out on the service workers because the politicians can't get their shit straight. Let's put it that way. Xerox. Suppressors were taken off the NFA. Let's go. Interesting. No Liver Mickey. No videos today? I will do the videos, but I'm going to have to do them after the live stream because I wanted to maintain the same slot, more or less. Let's talk about my crazy day the other day. I played mini golf, actually, and I won, and it was funny. My niece challenged me to mini golf. Here were the terms. If I win, she has to take the ice bucket challenge. There were a couple of other terms that I just dropped afterwards because I'm like, you know, I am winning against a little kid. If she had won, I would have had to stop dressing as a pirate for 2 whole weeks. I would have been, you know, massively upset. Thankfully, I prevailed. Then I had a hot dog, and so it was a great day. And then she repeatedly punched me in frustration. She knows I'm the only one. She can get away with that kind of behavior only with me. So she tends to take out any aggression on me. And so it's sort of a double sword. I find it amusing because she's not actually. I mean, I do have a couple of bruises. She can throw a good punch. But it was pretty funny. So now the next time that there's a hot sunny day, she has to take the ice bucket challenge. And it is going to be hilarious. I'm going to chill the shit out of that water until it's almost solidified. There's going to be like this, it's going to be like pouring a slushy on her. So, yeah, haha, loser. Shabisky Madisky, tired of your pirate ass. Yeah, I like the pirate thing. I don't know, I think I look cool. So does everyone else at her school, by the way, which is hysterical. I'm the odd relative. I'm the one that can get away with humiliating, younger members of the family, so to speak. Copium poppies. Service workers will now no longer have incentive to push for abolishing income tax since they have already got theirs. No taxes on tips means the rest of us are fucked. Yeah, but they're still not making a huge amount of money, just saying. Cygnus, sounds creepy and cringe. You defeated a child. She challenged me to the mini golf, just to be clear. I did not challenge her. It was fun. I think it was the Menden course. Not 100% sure, you know. I thought it was pretty fucking fun. It's actually a pretty good course too. It's a little bit better than most mini golf courses and a little bit harder too. There's one where you have to fire the ball either over the side or into a first hole and then it goes down and it comes out near the second hole and stuff like that. And they've got like a little farmhouse. You have to shoot it through the door and stuff like that. I've always been good at mini golf. I would beat the average adult as well, just to be clear. Doug Burgum is giving us a warning, so now we're actually on news. Doug Burgum warns, whoever wins AI race controls the world. Yes, I agree completely. Originally, AI was pretty fucking primitive. It's basically, hey, it drew a cartoon caricature of some celebrity or something like that. And the thought was, for an extended period of time, it's basically going to be for creating memes more than anything else. Memes, abstract art, and basic input that is capable of scrounging through the internet, and kids will use it to write their reports and stuff like that. So it was interesting, but it wasn't particularly useful. Now, in the modern generation of AI, and it's only been a few years basically, it has taken leaps and bounds. It's capable of creating all sorts of things. It's used in intel, it's used in military, it's used in law, which is something that lawyers aren't supposed to be doing, but they're still occasionally doing it. You should know better. You've got a law degree. Yeah, let's let AI write up your defense script so that you end up getting disbarred. All right, that sounds like a good idea, dude. Go ahead. AI is going to become more and more important. For example, imagine that you had an AI program, an attache to a corporation or something, and it was capable of effectively running all of your stores or something. You've got a regional chain store, you partner with the AI corporation or the tech corporation, whatever, and then you're using that to effectively provide customer service, security, and everything else. Well, that's a lot of jobs lost. That could be a big problem. But it could also be a big benefit, depending on the drudgery of those jobs. You could have an AI program that quite literally commands physical robots to do various tasks. So you could end up with a situation where you don't need janitors anymore. You have a bunch of those little circular robots that sweep the floors, and it's simply powered by AI or something like that. AI can be used in spying. That's one of the more negative connotations, by the way. It can be used to control drones. It can be used to command a ship. It can be used for pretty much any purpose, actually. And though I believe that the world's largest AI center was just built in Pennsylvania, if I remember correctly. This will happen again. This is also why Doug Burgum is warning, and he is correct on this. The United States needs to prioritize energy development because using these programs to proper effect is going to require an enormous expenditure of energy. We're going to need more of every type. We're going to need to extract more oil and gas. We'll need to build more nuclear power plants. We'll need more solar panels, preferably home solar, possibly wind, and so forth. If we can indeed accomplish this, we will effectively rule the world. That's what he's saying. And he's not wrong. Unfortunately, we're being outflanked by other countries with fewer regulations on energy extraction and the use of AI. So we're fighting a battle here. This is effectively now the AI war, which is hilarious to me, but it's also concerning. I don't think that you want China to end up ruling the world. I don't think that that would be very good for those of you that like memes. Garrett, the House just passed the HPA. Call your senators and tell them to pass the HPA in short act and the reconciliation bill. This would remove suppressors and SBRs from the NFA. That sounds good to me. Yeah, it's not a good idea to allow the Chinese to outflank you on such a thing. I think you get an AI program that's intelligent enough to, run an anti-missile system so that no enemy can ever nuke you, and then MAD breaks down and a nuclear war ends up happening, which is what would happen. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Let's see. Copium poppies. You do realize strippers make the majority of their money from tips, and they already make bank even with tips, right? Tipped work doesn't mean poor. No, but most tipped workers are working in a restaurant or something like that. They're not exactly making a lot of money. Usually they're living with 5 or 6 roommates just to have a one-room apartment under Bidenomics. Never actually gone to a strip club, by the way. I can say that. Even with taxes, I meant. Yes, true. Sign of Jonah. Sticks. Don't forget the V8. Fuck, I'll be right back. Shit, I just realized that I don't actually have any V8 on hand. I drank it all. But I do have Juicy Juice. Yeah. Most of you drank this as a kid. I still drink it as an adult. And I don't care. I mean, it is still juice, so it's still tasty. Why wouldn't you drink it? Juicy Juice Raspberry. That's the best one, by the way. Delicious. Sith, and this is what makes sticks great. Yeah, I drank all the V8. I mean, I've probably still got a couple of cans because sometimes I toss them randomly across the room and pretend they're hand grenades because I like to, have fun. Unlike most people my age, I'm still capable of doing that. So there might be 1 or 2 cans around there under the drawer, but I'm not willing to spend the time to dig them out. Micah R., I thought you were opposed to sugar. I believe this has no added sugar, actually. It's simply berry juice. And it's delicious. Let me tell you. Drogon, a kid drink? Lol. Adults can drink Juicy Juice. What are you talking about? Copium puppies. Janitors have it just as bad and don't get tips. Often no overtime either. Pressure needs to be applied to those benefiting. Pressuring politicians directly clearly doesn't work. I think that we should just reduce the salary of everyone in DC to $1 a year or something like that. That would save some money. We would incentivize only people who want to be from the lower class to run for office. This could work, by the way. Trump and the tech oligarchy. Of course, it would be from the American Prospect. This article was massively ironic. That's why I included it in the docket for the day. Trump seems to be destroying America's innovation system, but he is really skewing it in favor of tech monopolies. Hold up here, everyone. Which administration was it that leaned on tech oligarchs? Oligarchy has become a term that more people actually know exists now, by the way, because of propaganda. There's a reason that it suddenly springs up out of nowhere in the last few years, after originally Bernie Sanders was the only voice in the wilderness using the term. Oligarchy, rule by the few, applies more, I believe it was the Biden administration, wasn't it? Leaned on Mark Zuckerberg. It leaned on Twitter. It leaned on all of these sites. YouTube, Google certainly would be part of that as well, and so forth. And basically it was carrot and stick method. Hey, we need you to help us out with this. And then all of a sudden they get a grant or they get favorable status for tax purposes or something like that. And if they don't, then all of a sudden they get crushed underfoot. Zuckerberg pointed this out on fucking Joe Rogan's podcast, of all places, himself. And this is Zuckerberg we're talking. This is not a principle. He's not a libertarian. He's not right-leaning. He wants everyone else to pay higher taxes. Just don't tax Facebook too much. That's basically the way that these hypocrites work. That's why I don't use Facebook anymore. But tech oligarchy, what are you talking about? Basically, it's just an Elon Musk derangement syndrome article more than anything else. Orange man bad. Orange man friends with Elon. Elon bad. It's like caveman reasoning, basically. That's basically what we're dealing with here. It's caveman reasoning. It's monosyllabic, point and grunt mode. I just like using the term point and grunt because of that song by Adolf Satan, actually, so, Yeah, you should look that up, by the way. If somehow it's still available on YouTube, I'm very surprised that Adolf Satan is still there. I think the point of the band was just to be as edgy as possible. It's not even really music when you think about it, it's just screaming. I couldn't decipher any lyrics at all. Do they call white farmers diggers? Says O'Jabberjaw. That's pretty fun. Oh, Colonel Flag. No, 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 no. Don't try spicy clamato. That's a terrible idea. It's disgusting. Edgar Stiles, of course, wrong. That's not the view count that I'm seeing right now. Not that it matters. I'm well aware of the fact that YouTube algorithmically demotes me. And now that Rumble is promoting people in every hour slot, the rest of us, regardless of where we kind of are, aren't getting as many views as before. It's a little bit of a problem. It's also rather saying they screwed the quartering. They screwed Jeremy, too. Pentagon announces that it has accepted jet from Qatar that will be used by Trump once it is modified. By modified, they mean they're going to sweep every goddamn square inch of this aircraft to make sure there's no spying tech or anything like that in there. It's a national security concern. I would point out, Donald Trump has repeatedly complained for years and years about the state of our airports and our air fleet. And he was always called un-American. How dare you say that our airports are worse than those in Saudi Arabia? How dare you say that you're un-American? How dare you say that our fleet is bad? And he pointed out, look, I looked out the window and like the wing is hanging half off. The air traffic control didn't work. By the way, a separate video, apparently it's not just Newark. A lot of other air traffic incidents have been happening for the last few years too. Buttigieg apparently wasn't doing his job very well, now was he? But Trump talked about this in 2016, and he attempted to address the issue, only to be blockaded by House Republicans. Oh my God, you're asking for billions of dollars to improve air traffic control. Well, we can't possibly afford that. We're too busy bombing people and shit. That's basically what happened. It's the same as with the goddamn border. But unfortunately, he couldn't dip into discretionary spending to solve the obvious systemic problems at air traffic control. Apparently, Newark is not the only one that's still using floppy disks. This seems like a lapse in judgment. Can't you design some sort of modern technology to help automate the air traffic system? Is that really not possible? When, as Americans, did we get to the point where, like, yeah, we're going to use old 70s technology to do this instead of innovating something new? Dude, Elon Musk could probably solve the problem in a year. But Orange Man bad, therefore Elon Musk bad, and House Republicans cowards. Again, point and grunt mode. That's basically the logic that seems to be applied within modern politics. I'm sure that you could figure out a way, with all of the technology that we have now, to solve for the air traffic control system. I'm sure with all the technology we have now, we're capable of repairing a runway. And I'm sure that with all the technology that we have now, we're capable of building planes that are actually manageably capable of flying. But instead, the new Air Force One is coming from Qatar because the planes that are being built in the United States aren't up to standard. And we need to admit this. Look, if we're going to be a truly great nation, we need to admit to any failings that we have and address them instead of ignoring them, shoving them under the rug, and pretending that they don't exist. It's like the liberals have become the suspender-snapping, flag-draped, gung-ho America crowd or something like that. How dare you insult America? Our planes are the greatest planes. So when Trump says make America great or something like that, all of a sudden you have a problem somehow. I don't know. They're loopy, I think. There's a little bit of a mental problem there, I'm assuming. The Grizzly Oligarchy implies there was even a Biden administration after what the Blue Party did. They should be banned from any federal election going forward. True. Soapmaker19, your claim to have caused an ADA to unalive is sick and stupid. Unsubscribed until you drop the shtick. Look at me, I'm so quirky and unique. Look at me, I'm so quirky and unique. Bye. One tall order. She Boeing on my joystick till I take off. Oh, God. Mesnerflux. 2 days after I complain and stream about YouTube's not notifying about the last several, now suddenly I am notified. Same as a few months ago, literally the day after I complain. Notification back. Curious. Interesting. That's, I believe you. That happens. I never get notified by anyone, so I never see anything. I have a feeling that part of it is because YouTube is so massive and there are so many videos being fired off at any given time that it's impossible to notify everyone of everything. Like, they don't even have the capacity. And I can understand that, but at the very least, if someone has been a subscriber to your channel for fucking 10 years and they're watching all your shit, you'd think that they would see when you upload a video. Like, I have to manually go and see, like, what people have uploaded. I don't get notifications for Razor Fist. I don't get notifications for the quartering. I don't get notifications for goddamn hell. One tall order. Oh, I already read that one. SC Woods. The problem is that equipment needs to pass certification, a non-trivial issue. Second, the aircraft is American-made. Only Boeing makes the 747. Yes, but it was delivered as a gift from Qatar. Which means it's probably better maintained. Money drip. See the shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in D.C. by a pro-Palestinian? Things are getting out of hand. Yes, a couple of embassy workers, one of them a diplomat actually, were indeed shot outside of the embassy in D.C. by a person who apparently yelled Free Palestine before shooting. I do not know whether the individual was killed or captured. I'm not sure at this time. I'll be looking into that before I do my standalone videos. I might add it to the standalone video docket for after the live stream. I love juicy juice. Go ahead and fault me. Call the Gestapo. I don't give a fuck. I love that meme. Dude, I'm sitting here dressed as a pirate. You expect me to drink mature drinks? Juicy juice for the win. Jabberjaw. Yeah, they use apparently the larger floppy disks. It's not like the little 3.5-inch floppies. There's an old joke that Bill Gates has a 3.5-inch floppy. Ah, Spirit Matter, good, the shooter was captured. Now he'll suffer for an extended period of time. S.C. Woods, oh, I'm glad that you got a good night's sleep. Also, the shooter was captured. Yes, it was just mentioned. Zeta, I've already got a time slot. I go on around 11 a.m. See, Copium Poppies likes Juicy Juice. I'm in good company. Did I miss your last? Oh, also you should try going on threads and say that service workers should only get tipped if they earn it. And watch how fast the left dogpiles you. A tipping boycott would destroy the left financially. No, I'm still gonna tip well. I don't care if it's untaxed. Hell, I just wish everything was untaxed. Shouldn't be any taxes. Our government should work on charity, so our politicians would be paid basically tips, which would be funny. We'll provide for a military. It'll be like a night watchman state, a little bit more than that, but not much beyond it. That's sort of what I have in mind. Be a lot cheaper, be a lot more efficient. I have a feeling that people are capable generally of managing their own affairs. Like, let's say that the road in a neighborhood is not particularly good. If there were no road crews, you'd think, well, the road is simply going to disintegrate and it won't work at all. Yeah, no, people will take care of it themselves. People actually have built their own roads. That was sort of what built the United States in the first place. The idea of civil ingenuity and so forth. Joker thief, sat on my thumb, lost my virginity. That's like, Helen Keller. As a joke, they put the plunger in the toilet, and that's how she lost her virginity. One tall order. Saw this hilarious poster yesterday. It had Luigi's mugshot and said, "Execute Luigi Mangione. President Trump, please fry this fucking dago on national television." At first, I thought it was going to be a reference to the Luigi from the Super Mario Brothers. Copium poppies. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't be taxed. No tax on tips is designed to be a pressure valve so politicians can kick the can down the road and keep taxing the rest of us. Yeah, but anytime a tax is removed, I'm still in favor of it. There shouldn't be any tax on first homes. If you want to tax second homes and beach resorts and shit like that, that's fine. We should shift the burden to those who can actually manage the burden because quite clearly 99% of the population is being ground underfoot. And I don't mean in the sense of tax the rich, like a Bernie Sanders. We need to tax the rich more, they're not paying their fair share. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we should shift around the way in which the tax burden, insofar as it still needs to exist to a limited extent, actually will exist at all. I do not believe in property taxes on first homes, to at least some arbitrary degree. That would be a big boon for a lot of people. Get rid of that. There are some states that don't have a property tax. Man, it would be nice to be relocated to one of them. Unfortunately, I think that there are only 5 of them, and I can't remember which ones they are. We should get rid of as many taxes as possible, while not completely upending society. Jill Biden's role propping up Joe throughout his presidency can't be ignored as questions swirl over his cancer diagnosis. Yeah. Here's the thing. There are 2 sort of points of view. The first is that Jill Biden, and this is what I believe in, effectively tried to shield Joe and she was kind of running the show, realized that he was sick, realized that he's, developing dementia, but she stood by her man. The other one, though, is much more malevolent, and that's what some people are talking about now, and I find it very, very coincidental, the timing of this all as well. And that's that Jill Biden was the villain all along. She effectively foisted her husband into that position, still, again, originally knowing that he was declining anyway, and that she basically was the president for 4 years. I don't really perceive malevolence in the way that she spoke and acted around Joe. I perceive more a reluctant caretaker who is indulging Joe in his egotistical fantasies. Because in his demented mind, he thinks, oh, come on, man, I'm still capable of doing them push-ups and beating corn pop up and like stuff like that. And she said, well, these are his sundowning years. So I'm going to let him do what he wants, and I'm going to shield him. That's what I think. But there are others that think she's basically a fucking supervillain. That she engineered the whole thing the whole time. That it's not Joe that was egotistical and power mad. It was her. I'm amenable to the possibility, at least. It's possible. Beezy's Beats. The pirate garb is fine. A man should be able to dress in confidence. It's the occult, serious belief in demons and black magic that's the problem. No, it's not a problem at all. Yeah, it's difficult to tell which of those two storylines is true. Jill the villain or Jill the very, very loving wife. I think it's the latter, honestly. I think they're just a power couple. So she stands behind her man. She knew that he could, generally do the job. She, of course, would exert influence, but every first lady does. Look, dudes out there, it's bro code time. Is there any man out there that's been in a serious, committed female relationship with a female that hasn't been coerced into doing something you didn't want to do? Do you think that this is absent from the political system? Ask yourself that. Then you'll understand politics. Dude. Jill absolutely leaned on Melania. You think Melania doesn't lean on Trump? People think, oh, poor Melania, she has to deal with this madman who's so egotistical and she's like basically in the closet. No bullshit. I guarantee if there's something that she really cares about, she probably yells at Donald. And she doesn't give a shit if he's the president of the United States. He's going to heel and toe. That's how it works in such a relationship. It does not matter how powerful the man is. I'm thinking about some funny situation where some medieval king, his wife gets pissed off at him because she finds him boffing the maid and just starts throwing like meat pies at his head or something. I'm sure that this has happened. One tall order. I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man. I'm a freak, man. Like, for real. I don't know if that's a quote from a song or movie or whether that's actually what's happening right now. Enjoy. Yeah. Zachary Antle. If I wasn't such a cynic, I'd wish those who chose to put Joe in office when he clearly needed end-of-life care to be charged with elder abuse and corruption. But we know that won't happen. Or maybe we should. That won't happen. He's got terminal cancer. It is incurable. So at this point, you're not going to prosecute him for anything. The people around him have plausible deniability. Because, his staff already came out and said, whoa, you didn't even know until Friday. Nobody knew he had cancer. Which is complete goddamn bullshit. But medical records are subject to a higher order of privacy standards than most. So you're not going to be able to subpoena those records and say, look, we think that he was actually diagnosed and people around him knew he had cancer 2-3 years ago or something. You're not going to be able to get their medical records. The odds, even the White House would have a huge problem trying to get those records. So it's not going to happen. By the way, I don't care. Alright, well, the people around him are corrupt, but we already knew that. Oh, Biden was sick the whole time, but we already knew that. We already knew all of these things. It's just that liberals didn't acknowledge it. Yeah. Yeah, some people think that Jill Biden was a user the whole time. Knew he was demented and she sort of took command. I think that she did take command in many cases, but she was more of a caretaker. I don't see them as the kind of dysfunctional couple where she was abusing him. Although I think that she was shielding him from others around him that clearly knew that he was demented and were trying to do so. Crispy, who penned the pardon of his family members before leaving office? Yeah, exactly. That's the whole auto pen incident is quite interesting. I have a feeling Hunter was involved. I posted on Twitter, or reposted rather. Somebody made an AI video with a song in the background about Hunter and pardons, and it's just Hunter sitting there snorting coke and writing pardons and laughing and going crazy. I happen to agree with the possibility of this scenario. Julio Gallo, do you think Jill blows Joe? I don't think that he's capable of getting it up at his age and in his particular condition. It's probably been a half decade or more between, sexual romps. Although you never know. Joe gets all egotistical and does the man's man sort of bullshit and stuff like that. Thinks it's like 1960. And so maybe he tries. Maybe he finger bangs her, I suppose. You never know. I mean, if he has a dementia moment, he might think that he's 18 again and get all horny or something like that. Jill's like, oh, Joe's at it again. Puts it in the wrong hole. Gets a little mud on the helmet. You never know with Joe. He's a crazy fellow. And keep in mind, he was a little bit weird even back 50 years ago. He was that grumpy senator, the Law and Order, oddly enough, the Law and Order senator at the time. He was the architect of the Tough on Crime bill from 1994. And people forget that. Oh, and one of the prosecutors that was carrying out the will of that law was Kamala Harris. Derp. Top Democrat grills RFK Jr. over HH. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what just happened, actually. It wouldn't be a normal day without some sort of tech glitch. So one tall order is whacking it off, and we're talking about HHS. Mike the Wop. Jill's too old for Joe. He likes him 12 and under. Yeah, apparently he liked his own daughter as well. Based on her diary entries that were stolen, but apparently not real, but then they were real, but then, you're not allowed to read them, but then you are, and, people forget about poor Ashley's diary. That was very strange. All of a sudden, I just got a notification that my browser had lost connection to the microphone, and, but then I was able to unmute it. I don't know. I have no clue. Yeah, some people are yes, the audio is back on, but some people, unfortunately, it seems that on their end now there's a problem. I have no clue. Yeah, Sith, it's like Ashley's diary just kind of faded away. But it's available. It's been corroborated. There was an investigation because the diary was real. You can't steal something that's not real now, can you? But people never wanted to look further into it. Other than James O'Keefe and a handful of others, nobody really talked about it at all. Which is sad. And it's like, okay, Joe Biden was taking showers with his daughter when she was already like 10 or 11 or something. If it's you're helping shower your infant child or your toddler, that's perfectly fine. Once they get to the point where they're approaching puberty, that's no longer fine. In fact, it's arguably not even legal. It's called being a pervert. You wouldn't do that, generally speaking, now, would you? Like, I wouldn't. Like, right now, if I got into the shower with my daughter, because she's still well before puberty, it would be acceptable. I'd probably wear underwear in there, so just you obviously understand why. But if she was 12 or something like that, and I got into the shower, wouldn't that be creepy? I think it would. In fact, I think that in some places you go to jail for doing such a thing. Well, Joe Biden did that. The diary is uncontested in its accuracy. The Biden family has never come out and explicitly denied the veracity of the claims that have been released publicly. Nor, by the way, has Ashley Biden, who penned the diary. And we know that the diary is real because there was an FBI case into it being stolen from a vacant property. So, put 3 and 3 together. You've got the holy triplicate. You've got the claim, you've got the veracity, and you've got the non-denial. This would be a cut and dry legal case. It's just that nobody's ever going to take it up. And now Joe is too far gone, and probably Hunter screwed her too. He's into weird shit. Di Giovanni. Copium Poppy sounds like a BLM commie. Let's go after innocent civilians to get them to pressure politicians. No, I will vouch for Copium Poppy. But I do not agree on that particular singular issue. Sometimes I'm allowed to disagree with people. What can I say? Copium Poppies. So Anton's channel has its own version of Clank/Clankdom. Lol. Molk/Molkdom. Yeah, we have a grand time. This is why I love doing what I do. Interacting with people, memeing around, having some fun. By the way, I'll be doing an MRE video fairly soon. I've just got to clean my desk off. I don't want to move the treasure, though. Maybe I'll just eat it on top of the coins. It'll be like a pirate meal or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Speaking of Anton, anytime he's mentioned, I should eat Bovrite. It's extremely salty despite not having much salt in it. Which doesn't make sense, actually, but I don't know. I guess it's the yeast extract in it? Because the Vegemite and Marmite are similar in their saltiness profile. I think, still, the South Africans definitely do it best. Sorry to all of the Australian viewers. I'm Team South Africa with regards to the yeast extract-based sauces. And the Marmite, the British version, is definitely the worst. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it has a weird aftertaste, if that makes sense. The Bovrite you could use as a soup base. Papa Sack, his gardens suck. A mess, just like him. Well, you realize with the amount of travel and work I've been having to do, I haven't had a terrible lot of time to actually rehabilitate the garden. Nonetheless, the garlic out there is doing spectacular. This is going to be more of a year for berries and mushrooms, I think, than for most domestic crops, based on the weather that it's been. I have a feeling we're going to have an enormous load of mushrooms out in the woods. Bobby Poppinson. Sticks, help! The quartering is holding me down and pouring juicy juice down my booty hole. Sounds like fun. I'm sure you're having a great time. Sam J. Who the hell tries to be cool for juice boxes? Me. Look at how fucking cool I am. I'm 37 and I'm drinking juicy juice. I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's what being cool means. It's called not giving a fuck, actually. This, ever since I, oiled this, I've got that, oil for leather, actually, over there. Ever since then, sometimes the flap comes down a little bit. Hit be soft. Ahoy, Captain. Audio is back again. No need for semaphores. Whew. Thanks for the show and have a nice one. Thank you. John Hoyle, I'm concerned. The level of trolling is dismally low. Poole is bald. Styx drunk. Jeremy fat. They're dull with no originality. Can you encourage your trolls to up their game? Thanks. Yes, I am actually upset at the fact that the trolling is so narrow. It needs to be more broad. Like, somebody needs to come out and say that Razor Fist ground off his girlfriend's asshole with his motorcycle. Or that Jeremy poisoned his own dog and kicked it in the head when it's dead and then laughed and masturbated on it. Somebody needs to say that I raped several people in an alleyway when they were passed out on crack. You know, stuff like that. Stuff that's more amusing. Sigil, I walked into a gas station 20 minutes ago and saw an Amish guy playing the video slots. He's going to hell for sure. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, gas station. I didn't follow up with this because, you know, the other day was crazy. I played mini golf and won. I was very proud of myself. And it wasn't even close, by the way. Just saying. I'm good at mini golf. But also, afterwards, we went to the gas station. My niece wanted to get a piece of candy, and I kind of wanted a slice of pizza. By the way, they forgot to put sauce on the pizza for some reason. It was still pretty good, though, because they loaded it up with cheese. It was actually the best pizza I've had from them. This was at Stewart's. We walk in, and we go back behind, and this dude just yells, "Fuck you," and throws a slice of pizza at the person that's at the counter. And the other person's like, "Get out and don't come back." So he leaves, and I'm laughing my ass off because it was so fucking funny. And my niece is like, "That's not funny, stop laughing," and punches me in the arm. And I'm like, still chuckling about it. I'm trying not to laugh because she's got a good punch. But then, like, one of the workers there goes up to the one that had the pizza thrown, and she's like, "You okay, sweetie?" It was funny as hell. Fuck you. I have no idea what the problem was. I don't know whether he was overcharged for the pizza wasn't to his standards. I have no idea because my back was turned. I don't know exactly how it transpired, but he just yells "fuck you" and throws the pizza. I'm thinking to myself, yep, this is Premier Rutland. Yep, this is Premier Rutland. If you come to my city, you will probably see things such as this if you spend any length of time here. It was pretty funny. Yeah, actually, their sauceless pizza, ironically, was better than the normal pizza that they make. I have no clue why. It looks like it was just extra cheese without the sauce or something. Yeah, so he's been banned from Stewart's, I suppose. That was pretty funny. Yesterday was one of my favorite days, let's put it that way. Mini golf, crazy shit in the Stewart's. Got to go check the berry plants. Everything went well. One tall order, breaking news. Styx Hexenhammer revealed to be a devout Christian, likes steak well done, and isn't even from Vermont. The third is actually technically true. I was born in New Hampshire. And I have no problem with Christian mysticism. But the steak part, you take that back, boy. Sigil, I can confirm that Jeremy bailed out Styx because Styx was about to crack under the pressure and revealed Jeremy's Taiwanese donkey necrophilia collection to federal agent Alex Jones. Oh yes, CP Simple. Can I please talk about the Mandela effect briefly? I get news tips from all over the world. I get them constantly. But yesterday, I found out that Assange had gone to a film festival. And for a moment I was like, what the fuck? And then for another moment I was like, what the fuck as well? The Mandela effect had to have kicked in because of the number of news tips that I get, I couldn't have possibly not gotten a news tip about Assange having been freed on medical leave and gone back to Australia. It's literally impossible. If you sent me a tip about that on Twitter DM, bump it to the goddamn top because I want to see it. I am convinced that somehow I entered an alternate timeline. And I didn't really believe in the Mandela effect before, but I could have sworn that Assange was still in a British prison. I do not recall him being freed. I saw nothing about it. I never saw. I check the news every day from 5 or 6 different sites, including RCP. It's an aggregator. How could I have missed that? How could I have not gotten any tip about it? I have no fucking idea. So I'm a little bit creeped out, honestly, at the moment. I think I slipped timelines. Maybe in another timeline I died or something like that. Maybe I'm already dead. And then maybe I just reincarnate forever in the same form until I'm a mummy or something. I have absolutely no idea what happened. I thought that Assange was still in prison, and nobody told me that he was out. BW, none of the dodge cuts have been codified, Sticks. No wonder Elon wanted out. Also, Massey is a greasy pubic head op. Yeah. Yeah, I know that Assange was released, but I never saw the news of it. Now, keep in mind, I get 30, 40 news tips on a slow day. You would think that that major news would be something that I would have gotten a tip about, or, because I have to scrounge through news sites, that I would have seen it. I never saw it. So I'm convinced that that in another timeline that didn't happen, actually. Broken Prophet. Didn't they just arrest Tommy again? Yes, I believe Robinson is actually in jail. Oh, Stick Schlonghammer. Sticks jerks it to Destiny's blowjob swallowing video. Haha. I haven't seen it, and I don't think that I want to. BW, I always thought the Mandela died in jail. It was Berenstein Bears, and the Monopoly Man had a monocle. The Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle? Alright, that's another one. But it was Berenstain. The reason why you remember Berenstein is because Steen is a more common attaché to a name, like Frankenstein and stuff like that. And also the cursive on the cover of the books was a little bit unclear at times. Yeah, I know the Mandela effect is based on the fact that when Mandela died, a lot of people thought he had already been dead already, which wasn't the case. But it's still apt because I could have sworn that Assange was still in a British prison awaiting extradition. I never got any word of a plea deal. Considering the number of news tips I get and how widespread the audience is, I would have thought that I would have heard about it, or that I would have stumbled across it in the news. I would assume that Fox and CNN would have been covering that, for example. Nope, apparently not. That's, it's odd, let's put it that way. CP Simple, and Jif being Jiffy. One tall order. I think the customer was saying, a la blue velvet, anchovies, fuck that shit, pepperoni. I like that movie, by the way. Heineken, fuck that shit, Pabst Blue Ribbon. King of Biltong. Need some healthy, high-protein snacks? Biltong is packed with B12, iron, zinc, creatine, and more. Perfect for carnivore and keto diets. Available at www.biltongusa.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. Trust me, you should get some. And by the way, Anton, I did get the notification in my email that you had mailed out the next box. Can't wait for more goji berries. Those are nutritious too. Copium poppies. Check your comments on X. Someone shared a video of you covering the topic. I did? God damn, I went into a time warp or some shit. I watched Rocky Horror too many times. Sigil Stone. In the alternate dimension, you tried fentanyl in New Orleans jail and became the white George Floyd. Yeah, I don't remember, God damn it. I don't remember covering it at all. Huh. Well, if you can link me in a DM, I'd like to see the post. I could have sworn that he was still in a British jail. BW, weird, he doesn't have a monocle. He's from Rich Monoclera. Bobby, sticks grippy schlong hammer, sex. Yeah, that's bizarre. Apparently I did cover it, but I don't remember covering it. I remember a whole shit ton of things within politics, but I don't remember that. Yeah, we went into a time warp, dudes. I'm sorry. Monocle era. Yeah, it's funny. Now that Ashley Babbitt's family has been given $5 million, by the way, in reparations by the Trump admin, since the Biden admin was cock-blocking them, are they going to use that to make a holographic projection of her, like George Floyd's head? That would be interesting. Colonel Flag, your dementia is early onset. Mine is punctual. Yeah, people are talking about Pixel Planet. I really don't have the time to do that sort of thing, sadly. Although I do enjoy it. If you want to go on Pixel Planet, Clankdom controls most of Africa, last I checked. In fact, let me check it now. Either that or they've erased the entire map or something. Huh. It appears that a construction site now has pixelplanet.net. And pixelplanet.com is a different site too. Huh. Chris Zimmerman. You can't dress as a pirate at work. That's what I'm doing right now. What do you think I am? I'm at work. I'm making money. People is paying me to read out the comments. Sigil, Styx is already getting old and forgetting shit. Imagine what he'll be like when he's old and decrepit and demented. Time warps everywhere. Don't drag me back to the dimensional portal. No, I swear that I don't remember making that video or getting that news. Huh. Well, I mean, I'm glad Assange is free, I suppose. Normally, I have a really good memory for political topics and things like that. I can rattle off all sorts of facts about militaria and political events and stuff like that, but I just don't remember that one. Huh. That's again, it slightly creeped me out. The other night when I saw the news, where Assange was at the festival, I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I had to ask several people, like, is Assange, like, did they give him leave because it was a documentary about him and he's like under guard or something? And no, I found out that he's simply free. Terry, I just checked your videos. You never reported on him being freed. Thank God. Turns out I'm not insane after all. Well, I mean, I am, but, you know, not in that way. I could have sworn. Yes, Shabisky, CERN did create gold. This was done also long ago, ow, back in the 1970s. They blasted, I can't remember which element with a laser. This was in Japan, and they managed to create gold, actually. Oh my, that's quite the problem now, isn't it? I appear to have a broken toe and a swelling around it. Oops. I have to grab the ROM walker out again. Dan Sullivan, I'm on these videos daily and you never covered it. Damn, I must have jumped fucking timelines. There's no way that I missed that in the news and missed it as far as like people sending me news tips. That's impossible. 0% chance. Something weird and mystical apparently happened. An evil sorcerer is trying to put me in a different dimension, and you must help me. I'm just joking. But seriously, Jonathan, you think you can't do me paraticals? I's got me some black spots if you wants one. Yeah, I make those all the time. I just find it fun. It's hilarious. It's going to be funny. When I go to New Orleans, I'm bringing the black spots, and I'm going to randomly go up and shake people's hands and hand them the black spot. I need to get a white pen, though, in order to write something on them, because otherwise they're just all black. That'll be funny. Maybe I'll get beaten up or something like that, or raped. It's entirely possible. Seriously, though, New Orleans is safer than they give it credit for. The worst that's probably going to happen to you is you get scammed at some point. And maybe pickpocketed. It's not as violent as some people say. It's really a fun place. Bourbon Street is great. It's a non-stop party 24/7. It literally never ends. I can't imagine living above Bourbon Street in one of those apartments. Oh my God. And I don't know how you get rest, but I suppose that they find a way. CP Simple. Oh, great. Another case in NOLA. No, I've got to go out in June, actually, to New Orleans. Everything's already arranged for it, by the way. And I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, spend a few days having some fun. Go for 10 minutes, probably, before a court, and then leave. One tall order. When you're traveling at the time the story broke, I also remember the general media response to it was fairly muted. Didn't see it reported on that much. No, I was here at that time. Yeah. It's extremely strange that I didn't get a single news tip or end up reporting on it after seeing it. I mean, even if the legacy media muted the story, some of them had to have covered it. It certainly would have been on RCP, but somehow I didn't see it. Very, very strange. Huh. That's bizarre. Bobby, unfortunately, I don't think that any level of magic is going to cause Triple P to be less obese. I think that that's probably a lost cause. Instead of magic, I would simply, load him up with garden salads or something like that, but I don't think he'd eat them. Zeta, pick out a cottage in the Garden District to rent long term. You could do worse, that's for sure. No, I really, really like New Orleans, actually. Not the jail, of course, but New Orleans is like party hardy zone, like 24/7. It's one of the few places that I've encountered. I tend to be a severe introvert, and I've already talked about how I'm an energy vampire. That means that I gain energy in solitude or in natural surroundings, and I tend to lose it in interpersonal surroundings sometimes, and usually in crowded areas. I get overwhelmed. I'm simply a hardcore introvert. That being said, Bourbon Street is one of the few areas that doesn't have that effect. Maybe I'm protected by voodoo or something like that. That and parts of Amsterdam. Just grand locations. If you get a chance, go to New Orleans and go to Amsterdam. Oh, you'll have great fun. There's a million things to do. I also want to go to Tokyo, but I've never been. Unfortunately, it turns out that years ago they closed down that indoor sea. They literally had like an ocean in a giant glass tube. And I was like, wow, when I saw that as a kid, thought it was so cool and wanted to see it. But I think they closed it down, unfortunately. That's really sad. Yeah, it'll be Sticks on tour. Going to New Orleans, eventually going back to the Netherlands. I want to see Tokyo. Yeah, just got to line everything up. I got to make sure all my ducks are in a row, so to speak. Use code STICKS for 10% off any brothel in Amsterdam. Yeah, I never went to the red light district. Yeah, some of the people in the red light district are not there voluntarily, and I see that as rather sad and unfortunate. And then you get the British tourists puking everywhere, so it probably smells like shit, so I avoided it. Went by it, but not through it. I was with Liz at the time, so she will vouch for the fact that I didn't fuck any hookers. I don't know why you'd want to, dude. Hey, I got 5 different diseases today. It's basically kind of like the Rainbow Challenge. You remember that? When a handful of high schoolers, they had the Rainbow Challenge, and so girls would put on different colors of lipstick, and then it was a competition to see if a dude could get every color on their dick. And it was quite clearly engineered by the dudes to get blowjobs, by the way. But they thought it was funny. Sigil, but did you hook any fuckers? No, not yet. But I can. Oh, God, that would hurt. I suppose you could slam that into a person's flesh and pretty much wrench them around and pull off a chunk. Should you be inclined. In fact, maybe I should include that in one of the morbid stories. Let's see where I could put it. I already did the splatterpunk stories, but I could put it in the macabre one, maybe. Not Human, Not Anymore by Kyle the Redneck Hipster. And then we've got Lunatic Lit and Perv Papers. I'm going to do one about Stolas and Satan fucking each other, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I'll fit it in. I'll maybe make a news story or I'll fit it in somewhere. Oh, The Pirate of Rutland by Richard Vernadow. Hey, Richard, guess what? This machete is going to focus in that story. Sounds fun. Yeah, it's literally for skinning things and ripping them apart. Work it right through the flesh. This is one badass machete, by the way. Subscriber sent it. So it's, a normal blade on the front, serrated blade on the back, and it has a hook on it. So that would hurt really bad. 2 hits and a person is down with this. It's called the Raptor. What company made this? Colombian Machetes. And it's awful sharp, too. I would enjoy using that. I thank my subscribers for all the wonderful things that are here. Maybe I'll take that to New Orleans. Maybe I'll carry that around instead of the artillery sword. Ledge review. I still remember when Styx drank beer. Yes, many, many years ago, I made a video in which I had a couple of those. I can't remember what the hell they're called. The cheap piss beer, basically, but really strong. And I was wasted out of my mind. And I think I was drinking a Foster's, and I made a video where I was kind of incoherent. Then I made another video actually where I was on mushrooms, um, not psilocybin, but amanitas, and I was 4 sheets to the wind. Jeff Garman, Styx, you might be the reincarnated French pirate Jean Lafitte who fought with Andrew Jackson at the Battle of New Orleans. Yes, indeed. I will say no more. Several people mentioned that when I was in New Orleans the last time. Scooty Puff Jr. Styx, nothing but trouble awaits you in NOLA. Do not go there voluntarily. Yeah, because I'd rather have a bounty hunter come after me and end up with federal charges or something like that. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. Raymond, Styx, 2 seconds after you said you broke your toe, a drawer fell and broke my toe. My apologies. Yeah, my middle toe on my left foot has quite a swelling on it. It's been in pain for days, but now there's... Yeah, it's broken. It's quite clearly broken. Sorry about that. Anyways, I'm going to go offline, and it'll be time to do a little bit of news docketing for tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about. My niece is probably coming over later, and I think my uncle as well, so it's going to be crowded house. Don't dream it's over. 'Cause it ain't. Yeah, I'm not afraid of NOLA. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. The Styx hexening will continue. Yes, indeed. Forever, basically. So yeah, I'm going to the fucking vampire club when I get there. And I'm not showing my feet, by the way, Crispy, because they're dirty at the moment. I need to wash them. When they're clean and my toe is no longer completely broken, I suppose I could make a foot fetish sort of thing for those of you that are into that sort of shit. But yeah, I just prefer vagina and boobs and stuff like that. So yeah, just saying. Sigil, can you go on the lam so we can hunt you down? Still do the live streams and we can make it like Shia LaBeouf versus 4chan. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah, I remember the flag games. That was pretty fucking funny. That's about all. Peace out.